All right, well, let's start this thing off with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for bringing us together again today. Anoint this message and let this message go forth and bring forth great fruit. Let your word not return unto thee void, but let it accomplish that which you please and prosper in the thing where you sent it. All right, folks. Here's the thing, right? When you're born into a system, so this isn't about condemnation about anybody else, but what we're going to discuss is the truth. Not what is Easter, who is Easter. You say it. You say it every day. We've confounded two separate belief systems into one. Well, I'm going to explain to you today very clearly and very detailed who is Easter. Easter is a name. A name has a what? Meaning. Doesn't a name have a meaning? Let's get this started. Slight deviation today. Since it was a hectic week for most people, I'm not going to continue in the law this week, but we will continue back next week. I've got 2 or 3 studies lined up, continuing on that thread. So we will continue to look into the law next week, but for today we will focus on the correct Messiah and not this corporate imposter. There are many false Christs, folks. 1 John 2:18, little children, it is the last time. And as you have heard, that Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many Antichrists. So John's talking about even then, 1st century BC, many Antichrists work, whereby we know that it is the last time. Exodus 22, I am Yah thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first commandment, folks. The second one, let's just go to the second one. We've gone over these ad nauseum. We should know these by heart. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Any graven image. Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. That's just the first 2. Well, let's get this thing kicked off really good. Matthew 15:8. And this is the separation from the wheat and the tares, people. We can talk it. We can say it. We can do whatever we want. We can do all the highfalutin and make all the phylacteries look good for everybody else, where they go, "Oh man, he's a great man of God." Man, that don't go anywhere with the Almighty. Nowhere. You can't fool him. This people, this is Yahusha, Matthew 15:8. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. We've gone over this ad nauseum. What's the doctrine? The commandments of men. That's called traditions. That's called the traditions of the elders. So every epoch, every age, people are born into a certain set of traditions and commandments of men. We can't help that. We're born into it. We're slaves in bondage to it. What's the first commandment? I brought you out of bondage. It's the law of liberty. All right, let's get to 1 Peter 3:10. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that speak no guile. That word guile there means no lie. Okay? So when you come to the knowledge of the truth, you start speaking lies to people, tickling people's ears. I've told you this time and time and time again. So a lot of people get angry at me because I will not take part in these celebrations with these dates. There's a reason why I won't. Why? Because I'm responsible for the knowledge that I do have. There's this old saying, people say it all the time, ignorance is bliss. Well, that's right, because the ignorant don't know what's going on. They have no clue what the truth is, and they'd rather stay ignorant. All right, James 1:22. But be you doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Listen, folks, it doesn't matter what anybody judges you, sets forth on you, judgment on you. It doesn't matter. Everybody worried about what someone else thinks about them, you're doing wrong. No, none of those people can judge you. Nobody. So you end up deceiving yourselves, worried about what the world thinks of you. James 1:23, for if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in the glass. What if I told you time and time again, you look in the mirror, the truth forces you to recognize the truth and change who you are. If you can't change who you are, that's the cognitive dissonance. Your mind splits and you say, what do you say? I don't want to believe it. And then you just do what you want to do. It's called doing your own will. That's all it is. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed, here's the key, in his deed. Indeed. Why? It's the continuation of doing it. It's not just saying it. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, that means hold it in. The tongue is a fire that cannot be tamed, right? I have issues with it all the time. I got just for example, I was rude to a commenter on my YouTube yesterday. I woke up today and it bothered me all morning that I was rude to this person. I sent him a message back. You know what? I'm sorry. I was ugly to you. Why did I do that? Because I knew after I wrote it and replied, I was ugly. And I had no reason to be ugly to that person. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. Pure religion, undefiled before God and the Father, is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. Unspotted, without blemish, pure. All right. Learn to think for yourself, my friends. This is H.L. Mencken, the most dangerous man to any government, and that's to anybody, period. I don't care. It doesn't even have to be government. Anybody. Listen, week after week, people go sit in church and do the same thing over and over again and never learn anything. Never learn anything. When they go to church, it never makes them want to go home and read the Bible for themselves. You don't think that's kind of strange? There's a lot of information in there. A lot. The most dangerous man to any government is the man who is able to think things out for himself. Almost inevitably, he comes to the conclusion that the government he lives under is dishonest, insane, and intolerable. And why is that? Because once you come to the knowledge of the truth, you realize you're a slave. And not just a slave, but a slave that doesn't even know he's in prison. You will die debt. You were born a debt slave. You will die a debt slave. You will pay your taxes, and 70% of what you earn every year, you will pay in some shape or form. That means you're a slave. Okay? Discussion. All of our society and education is taught in order for us to fit in one group or another. And when on the outside of that group think, when you're on the peripherals of that group think, one is instantly labeled. You become labeled and marginalized. What's that mean, labeled and marginalized? It means you're set apart. They sit and mock you. The scoffers mock. Same thing they did to Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. They mocked him too. Why? Because he was set apart. He didn't fit in. By the other conformists as being strange or weird. The sad part is, and this is the saddest part of it, is that those that make the claim that someone else is weird have never once looked into things themselves, but only rely on what they have been told, watched on TV, or was programmed into their mind at school. They have never once sought out the information as their own, and all they do is follow the group. That's it. What is a holiday? Let's do word etymology. Where does the word holiday come from? Okay. Well, it's pretty simple. It tells you right there. It's a holy day. All right. 1500s. This is the online etymology. The holy day, consecrated day, religious anniversary, meaning both religious festival, day of exemption from labor and recreation. All right. That's where it comes from, 1500s, past the holidays, 1869, as a Christmas time greeting by 1937. Only back to 1937 was Christmas thought as a holy day. But what we do here in this study is a little bit different than everybody else. Most everybody probably went to sunrise service this morning, or some type of early morning service. They sat there facing the Sol Invictus. I used to do it myself because I was ignorant. I'd sit right there thinking I was doing something towards God. Why are you sitting there looking at the sun? It's called Mithraism. What's Mithra? It's another emanation of Apollo. What's the Sol Invictus? We're going to figure that out today. And listen, folks, like I keep telling you, condemnation, that's not what we do here. What is trying to be done is show you the truth so you make an informed decision to do the right thing. So what we do here is we tear down the high places of the pagan idols. Judges 10:6, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yah, and served Baalim, and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook Yah, and served not him. And the anger of Yah was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines and into the hands of the children of Ammon. So let me tell you this, folks. Every time you don't do the commandments as set forth, guess what? Guess where the children of Israel end up at? Back in bondage. Every single time, and it doesn't matter when, what age, what epoch, you end up back in Babylon. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? Sol Invictus. Anybody know about Emperor Constantine? Emperor Constantine was the first bishop of Rome. Okay, he was the emperor of Rome. He decided, hey, look, we're going to make Constantinople the kingdom of the empire, and we're going to merge Christianity with paganism. And it's exactly what he did. And I'm just showing you right here. This is off another website. How could a Roman emperor have anything to do with an event that occurred 300 years before he sat on the throne? Well, nothing. Needless to say, Constantine had no part in the birth of Jesus, Yahushua, but he played an important role in deciding when Yahushua's birth would be celebrated through the centuries. To this day, no one knows for sure. It was actually September, and when Yahushua was born, and there's no historical record of no one celebrated the nativity until the 4th century when Emperor Constantine decided to make it a day. And we're going to start right here. All right, right here. That's the Council of Nicaea. This is another important day. I'm not going to go into it here. Either as a means to unify his empire or to make converting to Christianity easier, Constantine sought to blend Christian and pagan traditions. At that time, 2 prominent pagan winter festivals were celebrated. The first, starting on December 17th and lasting 7 days, honored Saturn, the Roman god of agriculture. The second, starting on December 25th and lasting through January 1st, commemorated the birth of who? Mithras, the sun god. December 22nd is the death of the sun. 3 days later is the birth of the sun. It is the Mithraism. So that's the winter equinox, okay? That's what happens on December 22nd. On December 25th, it's more sunlight than darkness comes. That's called the rebirth of the sun. Constantine merged many of the traditions from these festivals with the nativity story in the Bible, and Christmas was born. And we'll go on from there and there. And here's the truth, though, folks. Here's from the east, the far east. There's from the mid-east. And here we go in the ancient triangle pattern, the Trinity with rabbits. There's the heathen beads, the prayer necklace. Why do you pray like the heathen do? Many repetitions. Here's Astarte. Okay? This is the spring fertility goddess. It's the same thing. I don't care what you do. That's who Easter is. We're going to get to this. Here it is. She is Gaia, Astaroth, Ishtar, Artemis, Venus, Aphrodite, Semiramis, Nature, Great Mother Frigga, Libertas, Astarte, Durga, Hathor. She's the Queen of Heaven. That's why you've got the fertility eggs. You've got a bunny. What does a bunny represent, folks? Come on. You use your adult minds. What does a bunny represent? What do bunnies do? That's right. Getting it on like bunnies.
They don't like one?
Getting it on like bunnies. That's all bunnies do, is mate.
Okay.
If you rely on someone else to give you knowledge, you will never have any of your own. So here's the same deity. Y'all in this study that come here a lot, you'll know this. This is the same thing. You've got the sickle moon. You've got the sun up here. That's the merger of the male and the female. This is your hermaphrodite, okay? Same thing in Christian churches, Catholic churches, and here it goes all the way back to Ishtar and Babylon. It's the symbols, folks. You got to pay attention to the symbology. If you don't know the signs and symbols, you can't read the language. It's a language of its own. Jeremiah 7:17, seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead the dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Hey, folks, man, this is just the reality. It's the whole Bible is one continual thread of what not to do. And here we are. And I'm going to merge this in right here. Y'all know about Lucius Trust, right? Lucifer's Trust, right there at the UN. All right. Now I'm going to show y'all something as we go through today. I'm just going to focus on the symbol right here. Remember the rabbits with the Trinity? They form the Trinity in the middle. All right. Pay attention right here. There's your trident. Okay. That's your Aquaman, your false fisherman. But you see this little X coming through the middle, right? And if you were to finish this like it was supposed to be, of course it would be what? The pentagram, the upside down pentagram. But we're going to focus on the Trinity right here for a minute, okay? As we go forward. This is 2 prayers from Lucius Trust, the affirmation of the disciple. I'm a point of light within a greater light. And Father, you know I don't mean anything towards this. We're doing this for study. I'm a strand of loving energy within the stream of love divine. I am a point of sacrificial fire, focused with the fire will of God. Hold up. They call this God too. Semantics, folks. Semantics. You got to pinpoint who you're talking about. That's why I don't use God and I don't use Lord. You know who I'm talking about. There's no mistaking. And thus I stand. I am a way by which men may achieve. I am a source of strength, enabling them to stand. I am a beam of light shining upon their way. And thus I stand, and standing thus, revolve and tread this way, the ways of men, and know the ways of God. And thus I stand. All right, that's one of the prayers from the Lucius Trust. Let's do the great invocation. It's right there. This is the prayer room, meditation room at the United Nations, folks. It's right there. This is the religion of the United Nations, without a doubt. I beg you to go look into it. Please, the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men, let light descend on earth. Well, first off, let's define what Lucifer is. What Lucifer mean? Anybody? There you go, light bearer. What kind of light? The false light. The false what? There's already many antichrists working. It's not the true light. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. Why don't I like this title, Christ? Why don't I? Well, let's read down here. See this little star right here? Many religions believe in the world teacher, a coming one, knowing him under such names as the Lord Maitreya, the Imam Mahdi, the Kaki Avatar, and the Bodhisattva. These terms are sometimes used in versions of the great invocation for people of specific faiths. Well, let me tell you something, folks. If you can alter it and change it and put whatever God you want in there, then what religion is it of? It's of the devil. It's of Lucifer. So the titles, I don't deal with titles. I deal with names. Why? Names have meaning. If a name has a meaning, you can actually pinpoint who it is. And it just goes on and talking about light and love. Well, you go read the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey, and all they talk about is love, love, and love. Now, we talking about love now, where we talking about mutilating little 6-year-old boys' bodies, cutting their penis off, and making them girls. That's love. Hey, folks, that's a twisted, warped way of love. I don't know about you. They don't know what they are yet. I take this task very seriously, and as such, I cannot lie to anyone when I know the truth. Now, see, this is the problem, though. People get mad at me. They get angry at me. They want to know why, Brandon, why you got to keep doing it like this? Why you got to do it like that? Why you got to tell people the truth? It makes people not want to come around, all this other stuff. Well, that's not my problem. That's their problem to deal with. I can only be my own man and work by the ways of the Bible. Ezekiel 3:17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman. And this is going to tell you why I cannot lie to you. I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at the watchman's hand. Do y'all understand the implications of that? Who's a watchman here? Every single one of you. Not just me. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity. But thou hast delivered thy soul. Thy soul. Again, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, that was iniquity, unrighteousness, law breaking, transgression of the law. And I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die, because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thy hand. So you know what? I'll get accosted all the time. I'm a butthole. I don't love people and everything else. No, it's the exact opposite. Matter of fact, I'm telling you what you don't want to hear instead of tickling your ears, and it's because I love you. The why. Now, this is where we're going to get into a little discussion right here, right? As I keep pushing forward through this. So why do supposed Christians wake up and celebrate Easter? Why? Anybody? Anybody? It's not even named after the Messiah. It's named after the pagan goddess Astarte.
They're actually celebrating the resurrection.
Exactly.
Well, how's that? What's everybody doing today? Bunnies and eggs, right?
Yeah, but at the church they're celebrating.
Well, when was the Passover? When did Jesus die? When did Yahushua die? He was the what? Passover. When was the Passover? Anybody? Any of you Christians know?
Does anybody know?
Yeah, it was 3 weeks ago. I celebrated it.
You should have told me so I could celebrate
Well,
This is the same as the Jews.
Why didn't you help me that?
well, no, it's not the same time of the Jews, because they've twisted and warped their time frame too.
That's
Okay.
because of him being released bondage from Egypt. That's right.
Yeah, well, it lined up perfectly. Okay, and y'all go do this. Go figure out the day that he was crucified. Go read Matthew. Go read John. Go read these things. Go figure out something.
Gave you the date.
But you can figure out the date of the Passover. Yah gave you all the dates and how to tell time. We're gonna get into this stuff, and I'm gonna start. I'm learning how to do it right now. Learning how. Guess what? Guess what the sun and the moon are for?
The sign of the moon.
The sun and the moon. What are they really for? Times and the seasons.
Okay.
How many of you know that
God bless you.
the Gregorian calendar, when they started the Gregorian calendar, all right, because before the Gregorian you had the what was the calendar before the Gregorian? Anyway, you've had like 10 different calendar changes in the last 500-600 years. Did you know that they just did away with like 20 years and 15 days of a year to line up Easter and Christmas with their pagan dates? Does anybody know that? Well, they did. Just disappeared time. What does it say in the book of Daniel? They will think to change what? The time and the laws of the Most High. What does man do? They change the time and the laws of the Most High. Did they really disappear days? No. Did they disappear years? No. They just changed it.
To fit what they want.
That's right. That's right. The continuing watering down of what Yahushua really was and what he meant continues. You want to know why? Just like Emperor Constantine did. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it easier for everybody to digest. We're just going to let the world come in and everybody get in here, clap hands, sing glory, hallelujah, walk out, and then live like hell the rest of the week. Hey, you're saved. But you're really not. You're only lying to who? Yourself. A real celebration of life and liberty through Yahushua back to the Father is now wasted on eggs and bunnies, which are fertility symbols. How did this happen? Now see, we're not going to get into condemnation of each individual. That's for you to figure out what you're going to do, what you want to do, and make it right with Yah yourself. But what I am going to give you is the why. The why is the most important part of it. Why? Because it gives you the answer. Commerce and corporate greed. There's not a church in this land, not in the state of Louisiana that I know of, that is not a 501c3 corporation. What does that mean? They are a for-profit corporation. That means they have a board of directors, right? Okay? That board of directors is set up to manage the money and it's paid out. In order for them to be a corporation, a 501c3 non-taxable corporation, what does that mean? That means they've made a contract. A contract with who? The state. All right. So once you make that contract to the state, what can and can be preached from that pulpit is decided by who?
The state.
There you go. Bingo. Corporate greed. So every time you fill the seats for these mega holidays and people come in and all walks, you'll notice every single church house on Easter and Christmas, it is full packed house. They're not going to give those dates up, folks. It's not going to happen because you're going to come in there and you're going to give your money. What's the root of all evil? Hi. Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked to me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. This is commerce. This is the delicacies. This is money. This is the Queen of Heaven who sits in the place of.
So what about, so you're saying that people going to church giving money is the root of all evil? What about tithe that it talks about in the Bible?
Tithe is not a real thing neither. Nope. Your tithe was supposed to be your grain. And you know what it was supposed to go to? So and I'm glad you asked that. So we'll explain that.
Well, I know that bartering systems change to money systems as
Right.
the economy, grows up. But we don't buy stuff with grain now. We buy stuff with money.
Well, right.
10% of our.
So your 10%, you go give it to a church house, right? And the pastor rolls around in a Lexus. Did you really help somebody poor? Did you?
No.
Well, that's what the whole tithing system was. The whole tithing system was built upon helping those directly in your community. And of course, it was built upon the grain, the food, your crop. And you also didn't tithe until you had an increase. So let's do this. And let's put this in an analogy with money. It costs me $40,000 a year to live. Okay, I make $40,000. I don't have to tithe. All right. I get an increase, $50,000. 10% of that $10,000 should go to somebody else. And the same thing with your food, your community. When you had a great crop, you went 2 doors down, 3 doors down, a block down in your community, and that man had a horrible crop. Everybody in that community made sure he didn't starve. That's what tithing's about. Tithing's not about some corporate overlord like Cash Money Jones or Kenneth Copeland to have 28 Lear jets, or all these other mega churches like what's the guy over here that runs this? All these people where you go through these churches and they got a big screen up there or whatever. It's a money making scheme. That's what a corporation is. It's built on the surmise of making money, and making money has infiltrated the church to the point it has rotted it to the core. And I'm going to give the verses on that too, because it was prophesied too. I'm going to give that to you. Quite simply, men and women would rather believe lies than to ever face the truth. Now, why is that? Because we want to be accepted. Matter of fact, it is so ingrained into us to be accepted that is exactly who we are, and that is used against us at all costs. Because no one wants to be on the outside looking in. We all want to feel part of something, right? It just feels good. I'm the same way. What has changed about me to where I don't care whether I fit in anymore? What's changed?
Your outlook, your walking with God.
There you go. I don't care what another man or woman thinks about me anymore. It doesn't matter to me. My joy comes from who? Yah. Who do I answer to? That's right. I don't answer to man. All right.
So I have a question. So in your community nowadays, nobody talks to anybody. They just keep to themselves. So how you gonna know if they need help or not?
Well, that's right. Why was it built that way? Well, first off, you watch
So
your
you
TV.
go to the church.
Well, you watch your TV at night, right? You got to be scared of everybody. There's killers everywhere.
Yeah, on the news.
That's right. There's killers everywhere. Your whole community. What's wrong? Why is every single community tore up with drugs? All this fits together. This is the result of what?
But if you do like you said though, who you gonna help?
I help you.
I mean, but
Does it necessarily have to be money?
but it necessarily has to be your community though.
Well, just anybody. What are you going to do outside? What about the time I put in putting these studies together? What about the food I cook every weekend for all of us? What else besides money? Get the concept of money.
Yeah.
Listen. Until you understand this, take out the dollar bills. Look at them. Okay, look at them. They're God's on the back of it. That's why the all-seeing eye's there. That's the Lucius Trust. Okay, and then understand it's nothing but debt being traded between one another. You've never paid for anything your whole life. Okay? A gift is a gift given out of what? The kindness of one's heart.
Yeah.
All right? And he cried mightily with a strong voice, Revelation 18:2, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and it's become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations, did he say 2 nations, 3 nations, 4 nations? No. How many nations? All nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants, who's that merch? We've gone over this. That's that more curious. Listen to me. Go pull up the Time Central Station in New York City and look who's standing on top of that tower. That's Mercury, the merchants. Or wax rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Money is the root of all evil. And why is that? Is it the actual thing, money? No. What is it? It's the drive to get it. It's putting material things above what? Let me give you a good analogy here. All right, I come home from prison, right? I was a horrible person. Spent almost 6 years in the penitentiary. You know, I had a little 9-month stint there where I got free and I went right back. All right? I come home, though, and I was supposed to be a completely better person. No, I wasn't. Why wasn't I? The only thing I was focused on was what? What was programmed into me of what was success? What was success to me? A house, a car, brand new stuff, blowing all the money. I lost valuable time with my daughter, barely got a relationship with her now, never home, always working. All these things go into play. What was more important? Was it the money? It shouldn't have been. It was the last thing of importance. Guess what I've got of all that stuff now? Nothing. But I'm happy. I'm happy. So Micah 3:10, this is important right here. This is the Old Testament prophecy again. Of course, it's rehashed again through and through. But let's read this. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity, lawlessness. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for what? What's that word?
Money.
Money. Yet will they lean upon Yah and say, is not Yah among us? None evil can come upon us? Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest. The primary goal of every corporation is to be profitable. Make no mistake about that. That's commerce, folks. The primary goal of every corporation is to what? Keep its doors open. So what happens when a hard decision comes up and you got a choice as that person, that as part of that 501c3 corporation, and you have to make a choice between doing what's right and the money? Well, you've been put in a hard spot. And of course, that's why the system is set that way. Okay? Now listen to me. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying, that every man, woman involved in these things are bad people. No, most of them are completely ignorant. What y'all have learned here about the true nature of the system, most people will go to their graves without ever hearing any of it. Okay? Who cannot legally tell the truth? And this is important. When you make that contract, that's why I won't allow anybody to donate money to me. And there's been plenty that wanted to. Why won't I start that? Because then I have to start preaching and teaching and talking to fit people's desires.
Yeah.
And not what is right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get things wrong. I'm human. This particular subject, there's nothing wrong with it. And we could have delved off into it a lot deeper. But I left it on the ends. Y'all already know the truth. Y'all already know the answer. If it was Yahusha's day, it'd be called what? It'd be called Yahusha's day. There's a reason it's called Easter, folks. That's right. They are bound by contract with the government to be tax-free. Under the agreement, the church is restricted at the what? The pulpit. They cannot. We all know this. Betty, I've had you go research 501c3 before.
Oh, I did.
I know. They can't tell you the truth. When you go under contract, you are bound not to tell the truth. So you will get a watered down sermon every week. And they're going to, about every 4 or 5 weeks, they're going to go back into tithes and how important it is for you to be back. Listen, what's the first commandment? What's the first commandment? I'm the Lord thy God that brought thee out of Egypt, out of bondage. Why are you supposed to be bound to a church? It's a good question. Light study today. Listen, folks, if you don't start asking questions, you will never find knowledge worth having. The wisdom that comes from above will come to those who actually seek it. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest not. We will now look briefly. I'm going to show y'all some things on the internet at the signaling of the end of an age. I doubt many of y'all understood the signs that you saw the last few weeks. First we had the Christchurch massacre shooting, and then we had the cathedral at Notre Dame fall. My eyes see things. My eyes see things differently than most folks, right? And first off, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. For those here today for the first time, you will not understand the language being used as it is symbolic in nature, and you were never taught it. All right, before we go any further, this is very serious here. I left the name off of this person. I'm gonna read this, and I hope this person gets this message and watches this video. What do you guys think about suicide? Looking into the Bible, there are a few examples. It does not seem to be a sin. I am considering it. Please don't send sympathy. I'm no weakling. I just don't care about this world, and honestly, I don't really care for more than 4 people in it. If anyone knows any of God's info from God's Word about suicide, I'd like to know. I'm just shopping around here before I get it on. No personal opinions, please. I'm just looking for something I may have missed in the Bible. Now, I want to tell y'all something right now. Everybody out there, and then I'm going to speak directly to the person who left this message. One of the things that is a consequence of me starting this channel and getting up to a set number of subscribers is and I hate to use the word burden because it's not a burden. I enjoy helping people. But the severe task, the severity of some of these questions that come across my face now. And this is another one. But we're going to answer this and do it the right way. Whose will he be doing if he took it into his own hands? His own will. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done.
In earth.
Something that I will address here out of love and care for one of our brothers. This is the result of being ostracized from society. This is what happens when you don't fit in and you're alone. But there's hope and joy that cannot be given by man, my friend. And I'm talking directly to you. I removed his name on purpose. That is one thing I can promise you, as you aren't the first to be at this stage. Now, we just went over this last week. Don't let the cares of the world, the tares, the thorns, choke out the life that you have been given. Never do it on your own. Always seek the will of the Father, and you can never go wrong. And I hope that message reaches you, brother. All right, so let's go do this. All right, so Sol Invictus, the return of the sun. What is Sol Invictus? We'll go straight to Wikipedia right here. I mean, I just typed it in. I just want to show y'all how easy it is to find stuff. All right, Sol Invictus, the return of the sun. Let's read right here. Sol Invictus was the official sun god of the later Roman Empire and patron of soldiers. On 25th December AD 274, the Roman Emperor Aurelian made it an official cult alongside the traditional Roman cults. Ha! Imagine that. All right, let's find out why they use triangles. This is right here on the Lucis Trust site, right? We're right here. This is the UN partner. The people form a triangle, all faiths and spiritual traditions. The triangles is a surface activity using the power of thought and prayer to uplift and transform consciousness. You'll find this over and over again. And I just want to, while I'm here, let me go ahead and show y'all this. That I didn't pull this, that I did pull this off Lucis Trust. There's the Great Invocation. And let's go down here. The Great, right, where is it? The truth that a great individuality called by Christians the Christ came to earth and embodied that love so that we could understand. And there it is. It comes right off the United Nations Lucis Trust. Well, let's go look at this right here. Now, I'm going to ask y'all, this is a picture that's going around of the fire, all right, at Notre Dame. Let me ask y'all, what do y'all see? Mm-hmm. What's the two towers represent? Well, there's a name for them, though. See if y'all remember. Jacqueline and Boaz. That's right. What's the towers represent? One's male, one's female. Why is the triangle burning in the middle? That's the sign of illumination. That's the third tower. So, listen. Nothing is done by accident, folks. Now, let me show y'all something right here. And then we're going to get to, remember I kept telling y'all, they keep showing you all the Simpsons movie shows and the Family Guys. They predicted this, they predicted that. Right? There's always that stuff. Well, this is the crown of thorns that a Catholic relic believed to be a piece of the item. That's the guy that went in and saved the Catholic relic, the crown of thorns. Now, here we go. I want y'all to really watch this. I'm going to start this. This is a show, I Pet Goat 2, which was done, I think, 8 or 9 years ago. Now, we're going to start right here, but I want to just show you how subtle the beast is. They've already got your consent. They've already showed you the truth. The dance is called the Mataraja. That's what this dance is. Let's do this. Called the Dance of Destruction. There we go. Alright, that's your bleeding heart. That's your cosmic Christ. Pay attention though. We're going to get to it. He's in the river Styx boat from Egypt. Now this is the most important part right here. I'm going to slow this down. Alright, hold on. Now which Christ is this? Which Christ is it? Hold on. It's very simple. That's right. That's right. Now I want y'all to pay attention right here. What happens to the thorns? Okay, and it's going to zoom into a study on the background. I just want you to pay attention. It's details, folks. Watch it disappear. Now, I don't know how creepy that is to you, but it's pretty doggone creepy to me. Now, I'm going to put this in the show notes. This is a super slow motion of I Pet Goat 2. If you've never watched it, it's about, I think, 8 or 9 years old. It may even be older than that. Here, let's go back. Let me show you. One of the weirdest things about this deal, it come out from somebody. This is from oh, come on now. Oh, 2013, this guy uploaded it. Did you notice the crown of thorns disappear in the church in the background, go down? Right? All right. The two towers. Watch this. Just in time, that dude got the crown of thorns out. Now, what the entourage is? What's the entourage? What was that dance at the beginning? Anybody? Anybody? It's the dance of the destruction. So one thing about this video right here that was put out by I can't even remember the name of them. This video over time has come to be like a premonition of sorts. But what is it really? What is it really? What are they really doing? When they show the Simpsons episode with Donald Trump winning the election and Donald Trump getting it the same way and doing the same things and all that stuff, what is it really? They're predictively programming you to accept that reality. Nothing happens by accident on the what? Political stage. What did Shakespeare say?
All the world's a stage.
Why did he say that? Because he was an actor too. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, it goes on and on. The world is just merely a stage, folk. It's called theater. That's right. Are you ready to take your mask off yet? I've taken mine off. So let's bring this thing. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving me this message today. Let this seed go forth and bring forth great fruit. Let your word not return unto thee void, but let it accomplish that which you please and prosper in the thing where you sent it. And that's it.